So we last time did only 2 shlokas, so we'll cover up a little bit more today. Essentially, in this chapter, the question which is asked by Arjun was, that is, Karma Yoga better or Karma Sannyas superior? Because in the previous chapter, Bhagwan Krishna has extolled or praised Karma Sannyas because Karma Sannyas is the path to Jnana Nishtha, basically that which is stability in that ultimate Jnana. Okay? So here, after the clarification that Karma Yoga is superior to Karma Sannyas, and this Karma Sannyas he is referring to the Karma Sannyas of a Jnani. So अज्ञानी के लिए कर्म करना, कर्मयोग करना श्रेष्ठ है एज कंपेयर टू अज्ञानी के लिए कर्म संन्यास करना. ठीक है. फिर उन्होंने कहा कि कर्म संन्यास जो कि ज्ञानियों का एक पथ है, जो उनके लिए है, मैंने बताया है, समझाया है, वह और कर्मयोग जो है दोनों एक ही फल को प्राप्त कराते हैं. ठीक है, दोनों ही मोक्ष के साधन हैं. कर्मयोग के अंदर हम फलासक्ति रहित कर्म, ईश्वर अर्पण कर्म, ये दो बोले जाते हैं. इसके द्वारा हमारी चित्त शुद्धि होती है. चित्त शुद्धि के पश्चात इस प्रकार से हम ज्ञान जो हम सीख रहे हैं, पढ़ रहे हैं, वो ज्ञान जो है उसमें हम थोड़ा थोड़ा रमते हैं और उसके पश्चात हमारे में कर्म संन्यास ज्ञान निष्ठा योग जो हमने चैप्टर 4 में पढ़ा उसकी तैयारी शुरू हो जाती है. और उसमें जब हम रम जाते हैं तो हमें अल्टीमेट पीस मोक्ष वगैरह प्राप्त हो जाता है. तो कर्मयोग जो पथ है वो पहले चित्त शुद्धि करके फिर कर्म संन्यास ज्ञानियों वाले कर्म संन्यास में ले जाता है. और जो कर्म संन्यास जिनको ऑलरेडी वो ज्ञान हो गया है वो कर्म संन्यास करके मोक्ष की तरफ जल्दी बढ़ पाते हैं. इतना ही फर्क है. परंतु साथ में उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि कर्मयोग के बिना जो है कर्म संन्यास होना असंभव है. ठीक है. तो जिस स्थिति में हम लोग हैं उसके अंदर कर्मयोग आवश्यक है. अब कर्मयोग करने के अंदर हमारे में कुछ कमियां आती हैं, कुछ डिफिकल्टीज आती हैं, कुछ रोड ब्लॉक्स आते हैं. तो उनको करने के अंदर इफ यू आर एबल टू नॉट हियर फ्रॉम बैक यू कैन कम हियर बिकॉज सीट्स आर वेकेंट. तो रोड ब्लॉक्स आते हैं. तो सबसे पहले जो रोड ब्लॉक उन्होंने बताया कि वो आता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ गेटिंग डिस्ट्रैक्टेड बिकॉज आसक्ति रहित कर्म, not having a desire for the outcome, is often misled by our mind following the senses, which leads to desires coming into play, and therefore we are unable to process this path of asakti rahit karma. Okay. So we then moved into the shloka number 13, where he says that the true Jnani is able to not only control his senses, but in his mind, in his own inner self. मतलब ये जो उन्होंने बताया है यहाँ पर, ये मन का संन्यास. ओके. सो ही सेज जो मन है उससे आप संन्यास कर सकते हो. उसके द्वारा मन में उस प्रकार की प्रवृत्ति उत्पन्न नहीं होगी तो आप में संन्यास हो सकता है. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आप केवल बाह्य कर्म से ही दिखाएं कि आप कर्म नहीं कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि बाह्य कर्म से बाह्य दृष्टि से कर्म नहीं करना केवल एक ज्ञानी के लिए ही पॉसिबल है. ठीक है, परंतु जो कर्मी है, जैसे कर्मयोगी हैं हम लोग, उनके लिए ये पॉसिबल नहीं है कि हम कर्म करें और वो दिखे कि वो कर्म नहीं है। कर्म वो होता ही है। ठीक है, केवल जब हमें ज्ञान हो जाता है, जब हम श्लोक नंबर 18 ऑफ चैप्टर 4 में देखते हैं कर्मण्य अकर्म, तो कर्म और अकर्म में वहाँ अंतर देखते हैं, तो देखते हैं कि अकर्म तभी होता है जबकि व्यक्ति ज्ञानी हो जाता है। तो इसलिए वो स्थिति तो हमारे में है नहीं, तो इसलिए हमको कर्म जो है देखना पड़ेगा कि कैसे हम कर्म संन्यास अपने अंतःकरण में कर सकते हैं। तो इसके लिए उन्होंने बताया कि ये 9 पुरों वाला शरीर, ठीक है, ये 9 पुरों वाला शरीर है, इसमें ये आत्मा मैं रहता हूँ। ठीक है, लास्ट टाइम वी स्पोक अबाउट द डिस्टिंक्शन दैट दिस इज माय बॉडी वर्सेस this is me, this body is me. Okay, just as when I have a car, I am not the car, the car belongs to me. Similarly, the body belongs to me and it is not me. That distinction is being created, and the distinction, if you can follow through, then it makes it it is called vivek, an ability to discriminate that what is your body versus what is atma. Okay? So that vivek then helps you to move forward in terms of understanding how to not do karma with the help of an understanding which is within you in your antakaran. Okay? Then he goes on to say that this master of the body, the Atma, okay, neither does it do any action, which we know Atma doesn't do any action. So this master also does not do any action, okay, because that is in the body. And neither is it telling you to do any action. तो ना वो करता है और ना करवाता है। ठीक है, ये सब जो कुछ भी हो रहा है, ये हमारे अज्ञान के कारण माया में अपना आप ही उनके गुणों के अनुसार ही हो रहा है। ये लास्ट टाइम हमने कवर किया। ठीक है, इस पे कोई प्रश्न? Any thoughts which have come up from last time, or we are fine with it? So we can read 5:15 now, shloka number 15. Can somebody read it? जोर से पढ़ेंगे कोई?
The many-formed Vibhu, omnipresent ultimate Atman, does not take any sin committed nor holy offering made by devotees. Then why do people offer prayers and good karmas and holy offerings? On which he says, the vivek or discriminating capability is covered by ignorance. So the non-discriminating existential human being is deluded into believing I am the doer, I get this done, I eat, I feed.
So let's understand the first statement here. The many-formed, omnipresent, ultimate Atma. Okay. So the ultimate Atma is Nirgun. It is without any akar. Nirgun, Nirakar. Right? And here it is many-formed. So we are saying that this particular Atma is given various forms by us. So it comes to us in the form of Ram, Krishna, Shiv, Ganesh, Hanuman, Durga, any number of names, any number of deities. Right? We have thousands of them in our own religion. Okay, so this, the many formed omnipresent ultimate Atma. The omnipresent ultimate Atma is the Atma, right, which is Brahma. Okay, and these deities which we are talking about are the many formed. Now, these many formed are not going to take, so since Atma cannot take any sin committed by you and therefore give you a reaction to it, similarly, it will not take anything holy which you are offering to it. Okay, and therefore the question is that why do people offer prayers and good karmas and holy offerings when Atma is not going to take anything? So who is taking? What is happening? That is the question. Okay. And the question is leading up from also the previous shloka where it is said ignorance, which is our own nature, or that prakriti, meaning Maya, is doing all this. Okay. So here also the answer is being given in the next statement. Our ability to discriminate, okay, knowing what is right, what is wrong, what is Atma, what is non-Atma, what is Brahma, what is manifestation of Brahma, that ability to discriminate is covered by ignorance. Okay? So we are unable to discriminate. We don't have gyan, we don't have an understanding. And that's why we don't figure this out, that what are we offering, to whom are we offering. Okay? And in our own religion, there's a stream which is very clearly there of nothing to do with any deities. Okay? In our thought processes, as we have seen in Vedanta as well as in Vedas of the past, which have explained that none of this set of forms which we are looking at Ishwar in various forms actually make any sense. So we're talking about the same thing here. But then why people offer? Why do they make an offer? Why do they have an expectation that God will deliver something to us? Or Ram will deliver something to us? Or Krishna will deliver something to us? Okay. So the non-discriminating existential human being is deluded into believing I am the doer. मैं यह ऑफरिंग कर रहा हूं, मैं ये करवा रहा हूं, I get this done. मैं खाना खाता हूं, मैं किसी को खाना खिलाता हूं. तो वो सोचता है कि मैं यदि आत्मा हूं तो आत्मा जो है खाना खिला रहा है, नहीं. आत्मा खाना खा रहा है, नहीं. शरीर कर रहा है. तो शरीर ये ऑफरिंग सब चीजें कर रहा है, वो आत्मा नहीं कर रहा. वो शरीर जो ऑफरिंग कर रहा है वो किसको कर रहा है? जो ईश्वर रूप है, जो ईश्वर तत्व है, नहीं उसको, नहीं, ईश्वर रूप को. दैट फॉर्म विच वी हैव गिवन टू द ईश्वर. त्रिगुण आत्मिका जो माया है उसके अंतर्गत हमने शरीर जो कि जो मैनिफेस्टेड है वो ऑफर कर रहा है मैनिफेस्टेड भगवान को, जो हमने अपने आप उसको क्रिएट किया है या माया द्वारा वो क्रिएट हुआ है. ठीक है? गेटिंग दैट? Let's read further and we'll come back to some points here back again. Okay? So somebody read, or should I read? Maybe people will settle down, then they can read. For those beings whose ignorance, agyan, that ignorance which veils. So here we are talking about that ignorance which veils, मतलब एक तरह से उसको कवर करता है, आच्छादित करता है. Veils and deludes beings, उसको delusion में रखता है human being को. That gets destroyed by the discriminating knowledge of the Atma. For them that knowledge, how does this knowledge help? For them this knowledge, that knowledge, just as the sun does, illuminates that ultimate supreme truth. तो ये जो नॉलेज हमको मिलती है, जैसे हम समझें कि जब प्रकाश होता है सूर्य का, उससे कोई वस्तु हमको दिखती है, उसी तरह से इस ज्ञान के द्वारा, इस विवेक के द्वारा हमको वह आत्मा स्पष्ट नजर आती है। कैसे नजर आती है? जैसे कि अंधकार हट गया हो और सूर्य का प्रकाश उस पर पड़ गया। कोई बाहर से डालने वाला नहीं है इस केस के अंदर। इसके अंदर अपने आप ही उसको बताया गया है। यहाँ पे इसको समझेंगे आगे जाके, बहुत कुछ है इसलिए। जस्ट एज द सन इल्यूमिनेट्स ऑल फॉर्म्स, knowledge illuminates all objects which can be known. Now, here it is said, knowledge illuminates all objects that can be known. What happened? Sunita, what happened? It illuminates all objects which can be known, and essentially it is saying that that Atma can be known. Okay, and therefore it illuminates that object. Right? Means this knowledge shows, gives form or birth, okay, and makes it understood. So basically it is saying this knowledge shows, just as the sunshine shows, gives form, just as the sun gives form, the sunlight gives form, and makes it understood. So basically this knowledge helps you to realize that Atma, just as the sun helps you to see an object. So how do we work at removal of ignorance? Okay. So here he is giving an example of a person who is realized, and what does it mean? For whom the intellect is dwelling in Brahma. तो जो realized है उसकी क्या क्या चीजें उसमें होती हैं? Whose intellect is dwelling in Brahma. मतलब हर समय उसको केवल ब्रह्म का ही ध्यान रहता है, वो तत्बुद्धि कहलाता है। तत् मतलब उसके ऊपर उसकी बुद्धि हर समय रहती है। तत् वह जो कि अल्टीमेट है, बुद्धि उस पर बुद्धि रहती है। For whom that ultimate Brahma is their Atma, that tad Atma, जो ये जानता है कि ये अल्टीमेट ब्रह्मा जो है यही आत्मा है, वह तद आत्मा। For those who have perseverance, determined knowledge of Atma, enthusiasm, meaning those who have renounced all actions and based themselves in the Brahma, those are तन्निष्ठ। जो हम ज्ञाननिष्ठ पिछले चैप्टर में कह रहे थे, वो तन्निष्ठ है कि उसमें ही, और तन का अर्थ है यहाँ पर कि एकदम इंथुजियास्टिकली उसको अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं कि हम उसमें हम हैं, तन्निष्ठ। ओके। फॉर हुम अल्टीमेट ब्रह्मा इज द अल्टीमेट शेल्टर, उसके सिवा और कोई हमारे पास कोई शरण नहीं है जाने का, उसी के शरण में है हम। और path on which they keep coming back. For whom ultimate Brahma is the ultimate shelter, or the path on which they keep coming back, totally devoted to the Atma. Tat Parayan. Parayan is शरण में रहना। तो तत्परायण मतलब उसकी ही शरण में वो हमेशा रहते हैं। in this way, whose ignorance of the inner self has been destroyed by knowledge. ये चार चीजें यदि किसी में हो तो उसको जो है रियलाइजेशन हो गया है, तभी उसको ये चार चीजें कॉन्स्टेंटली होती रहेंगी. तत्बुद्धि, तदात्मन, तन्निष्ठा और तत्परायण. Such self-restrained ascetics do not have birth and death. मतलब उनको मोक्ष प्राप्त हो गया. Meaning they attain that state wherein the relationship with the body, their relationship with the body does not remain. Now, a very significant point has been made. First, we have separated the Atma and the body. But that relationship which is there between the Atma and the body is not so easily dissolvable. So the practices have to be done to be able to dissolve that particular relationship which you have in your mind, which has been there right from childhood. Right? And that knowledge of how the path is to be understood, and be understood that how you can break that relationship between the mind, which is the Atma, I'm saying the Atma, and the body. I'm referring to some things which we are doing in chapter 13, that's why I'm looking at you. Okay, so it's been said as early as this in Gita, what he's talking about in chapter 13 as well. Okay. Meaning they attain that state wherein the relationship with the body, with its flaws and sins, does not remain. So they are practicing hard to get the tat buddhi, tadatman, understanding, and the tanishtha, which is constantly being enthusiastically there, persevering with it, and tatparayan, which is to say that I am in under your shelter, constantly coming back to it. That is the nature of devotion which we need to develop to be able to get that ultimate realization, which is basically saying the split that I am not this body. We go to 518, if this is okay.
Are these simultaneous or they sequential? Or
They could be in whichever
or
way.
they can be in any order?
Yeah, it could be in whichever order.
Because he asked Arjun to surrender himself. That is the fourth stage.
Yeah. It could be any which way. We go to 518. Can somebody read 518 for me, please? For everybody, please.
The wise sees that equality in a realized and humble Brahmana, in a cow, elephant, dog, and an evil person. Meaning he sees in a superior being a Brahmana who has impressions of jnana, who has humility and purity. In the medium level being the cow, who has no impressions of jnana but has Rajogana,
Rajogun.
Rajogun, and a low level, the elephant who's extremely foolish, endowed and Tabmogun. The wise always sees in them without any attachment with the sense of equality that one immutable Brahman. Such a person is seen with equality, Samdarshi.
Correct. So the wise person will see the same Atma, will see with equality the sameness in all these three or four different types of beings which we have seen up here. Okay, could be a Brahman who is very sattvic, a cow or a Rajasic human being. Okay, and Tamogun, lazy, indolent person. Okay, in all of them, he will see the sameness, the same Atma, the same Brahma, that one immutable Brahma. Okay, such a person is seeing with equality, samdarshi, sameness. Okay, You go to 519. Somebody read? Yeah. Yeah.
He whose inner self is stable or confirmed in equality, sameness, meaning whose inner self is totally established in knowing that Brahman is identical in all beings, those wise persons have victory or control over this birth whilst they are living. Because Brahman is without flaws. Hence the foolish perceives sins in an evil person. Even then the wise knows he, the Atma, is untainted by the sins. Hence it is confirmed that Brahman is one and free and same in everyone. Hence, he who sees this is based in Brahman alone. Even the slightest flaw cannot touch him, because pride in seeing Atma in the form of the body is gone. Since faultless and sameness of Brahman in all is Atma, hence.
Is this clear or should I clarify? Clear? Clear? ठीक है? उसको एक ही ब्रह्मन सब में दिखता है, चाहे वो कोई बुरे कर्म करता हो, चाहे वो पाप करता हो, चाहे किसी को कुछ भी करता हो, उसमें भी उसको वही ब्रह्म दिखेगा जिस प्रकार से वो ब्रह्म सब चीज़ों में देखता है। और जो इस प्रकार से ब्रह्म एक ही ब्रह्म को सब में देखता है, वह इसलिए देखता है क्योंकि उसको अब अपने शरीर के अंदर कोई घमंड नहीं रहा। उसको समझ में आ गया कि मैं ब्रह्म हूँ, मैं शरीर नहीं हूँ। तो शरीर यदि घमंड उसका नहीं है तो उसको सब वही दिखने लगेंगे। मैं अपने को अपना शरीर मानता हूँ, इसलिए मैं बाकी लोगों का शरीर को शरीर मानता हूँ। Since faultlessness and sameness of Brahma is in all is Atma. Since faultless and sameness of Brahma in all is Atma, hence the person should not rejoice. He should not have pleasure upon getting something light. यदि उसको ये समझ में आ गया कि सब चीज़ ब्रह्म ही है, तो कोई चीज़ मिली उसको, अच्छी चीज़ मिली तो उसके अंदर उसको सुख हुआ, अच्छा लगा. Nor should he lose his composure on getting something disliked. किसी चीज जो अच्छी नहीं लगी उससे कोई दर्द दुख उत्पन्न नहीं हुआ. Because only in the person who perceives Atma is the body. जो ये देखता है कि आत्मा ही शरीर है, the incidence of like and dislike, pleasant and unpleasant, causes pleasure and pain. So the incidence of pleasure and pain is only arising out of our connectedness or that relationship where we think that the Brahman or the Atma is same as my body. So now it is approaching from a different direction. So it is approaching from your inner self, your own mind, own thinking, and the dissolution of that aspect which is saying that me and my Atma are same, the body and me are same. Whereas when we often look at things externally, okay, I like something and I have to now figure out how to not like it because I want to be detached. Okay. Now, in this particular way, you are actually never going to be attached. There is no concept of attachment, there is no concept of detachment because you anyway moved away from the relationship between the body and Atma that has been dissolved. That illusion which is there, that I and the body is same, that has been dissolved. He who is free from doubt. Okay, I'm reading the next sentence. He who is free from doubt, convinced that Atma is one, flawless and sane, and who is free from delusion. What is a delusion? That me and my Atma, the body and my Atma are same. That is the delusion. That steady minded knower of Brahma is based in Brahma. So, he who is free from doubt, which doubt do you have? Hmm? Is there a Brahma? That's a doubt. So we can take that as one doubt. Second doubt could be that is the body and Atma same or different? That could be a doubt. Convinced that Atma is one means that they're not two Atmas. They're not 100 million, 7 billion Atmas, okay, or whatever billions of Atmas. It is flawless and same in everybody. And who is free from this delusion, which is the delusion that me and my body are same. That steady minded knower of Brahma is based in Brahma and he performs no action. वही ज्ञान है और उस ज्ञान से ही कर्म जो है आपका कट जाता है, कोई आप कर्मी बन जाते हैं. Now we go to shloka number 21 and 22 for today, and then we'll come back to questions. We'll probably raise some questions. एक मेरे को दे दीजिए बस ऑप्शन. एक मिनट. हाँ, दो ही श्लोक है ना. हाँ, इसमें तो इसलिए वो एक शीट पे 2 स्लाइड्स में आ गया. ये लीजिए. हाँ, एक्स्ट्रास काफी हैं, डोंट वरी. जो लोग अगली बारी आएंगे उनको मिल जाएगा. तो अभी हमने जो समझा, ये जो ज्ञानी है वो उस प्रकार से अपने चीजों में समझता है, देख पाता है और ब्रह्म एक ही मान पाता है और देखता है सब में वही ब्रह्म है. ये शरीर और मैं अलग अलग हैं. तो ये तो ज्ञानी की स्थिति में हुआ. परंतु जो व्यक्ति ज्ञानी नहीं है और उसको जो है बाकी जो चीज़ें एक्सटर्नल वर्ल्ड में हो रही हैं उसके साथ उसका अटैचमेंट है या उसके साथ वो बिना समझे काम करता है, तो वो क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, वो समझने के लिए अब हम ये 2 श्लोक पढ़ेंगे. ठीक है. Such a person whose senses and inner self are not attached to external objects or pleasures attains that pure happiness which is inside. तो जो यदि अपनी सेंसेस, अपनी जो इंद्रियां हैं उसके द्वारा बाह्य मतलब जो बाहर हो रहा है अपने शरीर के, उसमें हर समय रमण नहीं करती हैं, अपने अंतःकरण में भी रमण करती हैं, तो वो जो है धीरे धीरे अंदर अपने सुख की प्रतीति देखेगा. And whose inner self is connected to deep concentration of Brahma, who is properly absorbed in it, he attains inexhaustible eternal bliss. और वो जो प्रैक्टिस है धीरे धीरे अंदर देखने की, अंदर समझने की, अपने चित्त को समझने की, विवेक को समझने की, वो प्रैक्टिस धीरे धीरे करके जब ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम you are able to concentrate deeply on the Brahma, which is Sachidanand Swarup. Okay, Sachidanand means it is the bliss, the form of bliss. Okay, who is properly absorbed in it, he attains that inexhaustible. Inexhaustible means it is like eternal, it is not perishable, it is going to be always there, it is going to remain as bliss. It is that peace, that calmness, everything. Okay, which is being referred to here. So धीरे धीरे करके जो हम अपनी इंद्रियों से बाह्य विषयों पे अपनी बुद्धि लगाते हैं, अपनी इंद्रियों को लगाते हैं, और वहाँ पर धीरे धीरे हमारे को आसक्ति उत्पन्न होती है, उसको हटाकर यदि हम अपने अंतःकरण में लगाएं तो अंतःकरण के अंदर धीरे धीरे शुद्धि होगी, और उसके अनुसार यदि हम ब्रह्म पे जो है अपनी कंसंट्रेशन, फोकस, मेडिटेशन, कॉन्टेम्पलेशन करें तो वो हमको अल्टीमेट ब्लिस तक ले जाएगा. Hence, who is desirous of this imperishable bliss, जिसको ये चाहिए, should remove his senses from these impermanent external objects. जो ये impermanent external objects हैं, and their momentary perceptions. How are these external objects impermanent, or how are they momentary?
Nashwan, temporary,
कैसे हैं temporary?
limited है.
कैसे हैं limited?
खुशी आई, खुशी गई.
हाँ, वो तो हमारी भावना है.
Based
मगर
on the senses.
हाँ, अब
They
जिस
give the pleasure to the senses, right? If you
Right.
see
So-
something you find attractive
or it is,
or
yeah,
it's tasty, enjoyable.
and it vanishes after that.
Yeah.
But suppose you see a tree and you're not having any sense of happiness or pain or pleasure or whatever else vis-a-vis the tree. Okay, then what is happening? Why is it still temporary? Or suppose I say that this chair has got a long life of 20 years, and I see it. For 20 years at least it is something which is there. But still I'm calling it momentary, external, impermanent external objects. So let us understand that. Okay? We'll understand that as we go along. Because there's a nice way to look at it. It will help in many, many situations. Since the relationship between objects and senses gives rise to enjoyment. Since the relationship between objects and senses gives rise to enjoyment, pleasure, right? They, being born of ignorance, are the reason for pain or sorrow. We'll understand this also. Why, how all those things which are of pleasure are also the source of pain and sorrow. There are three kinds of sorrows, and all of them arise from this ignorance alone. What are these three kinds of sorrows? Adhyatmik, Adidevic, Adibhautik. We have seen this. I have mentioned refer to 256 because there I have explained what is Adibhautik. Adibhautik is that which happens as a consequence to your body. Adidevic is that which is a consequence of what devas do for you, and Adhyatmik is that which is done by somebody else, right? So these three type of sorrows or pains or whatever we get are also caused by ignorance. What is that ignorance?
Believing that the body and the soul are
Same.
same.
Soul is not the word, but yeah, it's fine.
I mean, Atma.
It's
Sorry,
okay, no
Atma.
problem.
Yeah.
No problem. You're getting it right, roughly there. Not knowing who you are. Okay. So, there is not the remotest, so I'm just going forward further. There is not the remotest shadow of genuine happiness in this world. Why is it so? Because it is also transient. On understanding this, senses should be removed from the mirage of objects and their enjoyments. Not only the connection between senses and objects cause pain, but also they have a beginning and an end. Okay, so this is the reason why everything can be considered to be transient. Everything has a beginning and everything has an end. Okay, if something has a beginning, it must have an end. Agreed? So if something has a beginning and an end, then it cannot be permanent. So it has to be transient. Okay, the connection of the senses with the objects, the connection of the senses with the objects is the beginning of whatever, of enjoyment, etc. Right? Beginning happens when I connect with the senses, the object within the senses, right? That's when the beginning happens. And the separation is their end. So if my senses are connecting to something, that's the beginning. End hai when I have removed my senses with that particular object. And that piece which is just there in the middle is all that exists for that particular moment. It could be momentary because your connection could be momentary. It could be for a longish period of time, but it is still impermanent. And that beginning and end is the transience we're talking about. They are transient or ephemeral as they exist only in the middle. So you see any transaction, you see anything, it has a beginning, it has an end. And that which is in the middle is only transient. It is impermanent. Okay. So, O son of Kunti, the sage, man of discrimination, who is a sage, who is Viveki, one who knows the ultimate essence, Tattva Jnani. Huh? So the sage, man of discrimination, one who knows the ultimate essence, he does not delight in these object-led enjoyments. He does not delight in it. He is aware that they are only transient. And at best, when they go away, they will lead to pain or sorrow. Only the extremely foolish or deluded persons are seen to have a delight in external objects. So he has put a seal, he's put a stamp on all the various things which tend to delight us, and we tend to get carried away with them. So now we can have questions. Thank you. Otherwise, I'll raise some questions of the previous time. Huh? Please go ahead.
How do we understand or interpret this term, the term bliss? So you're saying the target is bliss. What is bliss? In the sense that you're saying that the Atma has no way of experiencing pleasure, pain. So what is this whole aspect of bliss which is related to the Paramatma or the Atma?
Yeah. So we have given a certain name to that which is ultimate, right? We call it Atma. We can call it Brahma. We can call it. And those who have understood that, who have realized it, have also realized that they are in that ultimate peace or ultimate bliss. And therefore, the only words they can use for that particular state is bliss or peace or similar words.
It is also saying that it is nothing. Or it is everything.
So they say it is everything.
It's also nothing.
No, if it is nothing, then there's a certain question which comes up.
If it is something, then also simple.
No. So there has to be something. You can't have this creation out of nothing.
If it is something, then
That something
it
has,
exists.
so that something is beyond our understanding, our senses, which is what we are looking at. And you raise that point validly, that it is not something which we can experience through our senses. So that is what it is. It is not being experienced through our senses. It is a realized state which has been expressed by those who have realized as being blissful, as being everlasting peace, as being very calm, as being totally, let us say, absorbed in that which is that ultimate. Okay, and how is it that which is absolutely absorbed in that ultimate is the same, that you are one as you have realized yourself. The body does not exist, it falls away, which we have just spoken of in shlokas just preceding this. Okay, yeah.
So, can bliss be different? Is bliss individualistic? Like your bliss, my bliss can be different, relative? No.
There is nothing which is being said about bliss. It is being said about that particular state. That state cannot be different. So it is referred to as Satchidanand Swarup. Sat is that ultimate truth, the only one. Chit is that intellect, that inside myself. Anand is that which is that ultimate bliss. Satchidanand. And that exists. And it has been given that particular nomenclature. So, absolutely one, that Sat, which is within me, in my Chit, and Anand. So I know that there is that, which is the ultimate. And it is residing somewhere, it is there inside me as well. In my
What
Chit.
about the daily basic needs? Like I need soap to wash myself, clothes to wear.
So when I am in my Karma Yoga, I am involved with that. How are you involved in it? I'm asking you this question.
How are you?
Involved in it for your daily needs.
I'd like to be clean.
Yeah, so
I
you
need
just
soap.
put so. You understand that this body needs to be clean.
So those are not materialistic external things.
They are external things, but are you just spending time in them alone?
No. But I might want that soap.
You may want that soap, you may want it, but it depends on how you want it. Suppose you don't get it, are you going to be upset? No. It doesn't matter.
I'll
It's
go
a
for
different
another one, better one.
need
Otherwise,
or worse. If you're indifferent to that which is like, dislike, better, worse,
Then
then you are making some headway. All various situations are being spoken of in Gita as to how our mind goes and attaches or does various things. You just have to sort of bring those examples of your own daily life into looking at these concepts or aspects which are being talked of in Gita. So we have the Nitya Karma, right? Which is we doing a daily work, eating food, taking a bath, all sorts of small, small things. Nitya Karma. We have Kartavya Karma. We have Naimittik. Naimittik is prescribed. Somebody has prescribed. You read it in the Gita, you said this is prescribed, I should do this. It is written there that I should have quinoa, so I'll have quinoa. Just giving an example. So those are prescribed karmas. Somebody tells me that I should have food at this time and medicines at this time, prescribed karmas. Okay. And then I have
Kamya
hmm,
karma.
karmic karma, which I am doing for my own satisfaction, for my own desire to be fulfilled. Now, each of these actions, when I'm performing them, I could be looking at as to how I can do these actions as Ishwar Arpan Karma or as Asakti Rahit Karma without having an attachment to the outcome. So, those who are, for example, going for their daily bath, okay, they are saying, yeah, I'm washing my body, I'm supposed to be performing this, it's part of my yam niyam. Okay, there are these practices, sham dam. Okay. Or I could be saying, actually, I'm cleaning my body so that I can offer this body when I am offering prayers to the Lord. Okay, so there are various ways people will interpret and use it in their daily life. Simple cleaning of the body could be an offering to the God.
Again, referring to bliss once more. So, bliss can be again divided into spiritual bliss, emotional bliss, physical bliss, like
That is all for you to do.
yeah.
There's
So,
nothing
but
like
then
that.
it is again expanded. Like bliss has so many states.
So you can have a word and you can expand it the way you like, but it's all happening in this space, which is transient. Okay, it is all in a mirage.
Yeah.
In its ultimate existence.
Mm.
Okay, only when you realize it, you know. Yeah, and there is no word for it. Here you are creating distinctions only to focus on a certain thing, analyze, and therefore give a
Yeah,
perspective,
analyze exactly.
which is not
Analyze.
required. Because once you're there, there's nothing. When you do an analysis, when there are two people, there are two things, you have a differentiation. When there is one only, then what is there? How can you differentiate? There's nothing to compare.
Would it be something like explaining somebody what is sweet? Somebody who has never tasted it. It's a
Or ginger.
experience.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying that leave it as nomenclature. And the only closest thing you can ever feel or sense is that, yes, there are moments which all of us have experienced. Sitting in some wilderness, sitting beside somebody, sitting very quietly somewhere, maybe sometimes early in the morning, sometimes late, sometime. You just suddenly feel that you are drenched in that, you're absorbed in that peace, quietness, whatever.
That's connected to the worldly material world.
Absolutely. Still.
The higher bliss you're talking about. The
Absolutely.
other bliss is something very different.
Absolutely.
Not connected.
When you have basically gone beyond your own body and your own antakarma, which is rare.
So that bliss is transient, right? It'll go
That is also transient at this moment, but you have got a glimpse of that, and therefore you are working towards to see as to how that translates into a steady stream or a stable situation.
The Jnani would always be in that state.
The Jnani knows, so that's why in this shlokas itself, he says that first you do your karma yoga, then you have some jnana, and we'll talk about that jnana. Okay, and then you are practicing karma sannyas roop jnana nishtha. Jnana nishtha means that stability in that jnana.
Established.
So you had jnana, but now you are performing certain types of, you bringing a certain type of thinking. What is the type of thinking which we have understood? That when there is some action being performed, that action is being performed by my body, and I am fully aware of it. It's not me who's performing that action. We just read this. Okay, that steady stream of realization is leading to Gyan Nishtha. which gives the ultimate peace. Yeah.
There is a phrase which I recollect from many years ago as a child when I read, but I don't remember the origin of that from the book. But it was in English. It went, "When the whole is taken out of the whole still remains whole." It is from one of the. So, which chapter verse is it, and how do we place it in context of our discussions?
So I don't remember the shloka. I won't be able to.
In the Upanishad.
Huh, in Mandukya.
It's in the Ishopanishad, one of the Upanishads.
Ah, correct. Yeah, so it is very simple. You take some water out of the ocean, what happens?
I mean, the concept is clear, but I was just trying to.
Yeah.
Because it applies to the Atma.
Yeah,
And I
Because
assume that the reference
it is
would
Atma.
be to that.
It is only to
I
Atma.
never connected.
Yeah.
It took me some years to figure that thing out. So if that is clear, then I think a lot of this kind of falls into place.
Yeah, so lots of stuff makes it clear. But are we able to stay in it? And each one figures out their own way, their own understanding to be able to come to some point to stay in it. And that's why so many possibilities are.
And that is why I was saying that even this state of bliss is different for every individual. Like it can be temporary and you want it constant. So आप उसी को तो आपने बोला steady stream, right? Say I suppose I went to Shirdi yesterday, right? So that was a spiritual bliss for me, right? But then the whole thing of extending, like even when you have left that external temple, bahar aake bhi, when you're back also, you want to stay and you want to maintain that spiritual bliss, for example, for as long as possible. Constant, consistency is what we all are seeking. But again, for someone meeting a child after 5 years is again an emotional bliss. So उसमें भी तो different variations आ जाते हैं.
That you're giving name to.
Name to, yes, I am giving name to.
So I have
I'm
given
categorizing it also.
I have given the name to coming out of the temple and feeling the spiritual bliss. So who is that I? So who is that I?
Maybe the external attached to us. This is external. This
stimuli.
That's temporary. This attached.
And
And
that is without that I. And that is very, very rare. And I'm not even saying that actually it is so that that is the ultimate, because as we read along, this body cannot, this mind is not in a position to be able to grasp that.
we all are seeking that only.
So, how to grasp that is what we're trying to figure out.
I agree. That's why I'm here.
So, who is that I? As soon as you ask that, you'll understand.
So I have a very funny example. So I'm on the 25th floor. So only during springtime I sit in the balcony early in the morning and I love seeing my neighbors waking up to the thing. But it's very short, the period. And then I don't have that bliss anymore. Then it becomes hot or cold.
Yeah. So, same question I'm asking you. I wake up, I see, I have the bliss. Who is that I? It is without that I, the body, which is it. Because that which is it is not this body.
Supposing body is also experiencing bliss. No?
Not that. The dictionary is yes. Also, dictionary yes.
We'll close for today, or more questions just now? Sorry, I've left you with a thought, but it's an important thought.